everyone. So today I'm gonna do kind of like a fall feels TBR. So these are all books that I hope, we'll see what happens, to read this fall, and they're kind of fallish feels. I'm doing this video a little bit early just in case you like any of them and you want to order them as well. It's August 2nd, I think. And so like it's technically the end of summer, but my kids start school on August 17th, so like we're moving into fall mode already. It's early. It is what it is. But if you watch this video and you like any of them, then you can order them and get them in time for actual fall to start. So the first one is one I just got from the Broken Binding. It's like a special edition, so it's got some fancy stuff on it. It's got like the cool spine and everything, but they have, you know, normal copies of this too. I think the Broken Binding copy is sold out. You can get it on Amazon or wherever else books are sold. It's a chunker. It's a big one. I haven't read anything by R.J. Barker before, but I think he just always writes big books. But this one is Gods of the Weirdwood, and it is about a man who was groomed when he was younger to be a great warrior for the gods, but for whatever reason, it might be known, I don't know, but he wasn't chosen, and so he's just been living as a woodsman. But now he is going to team up and help a group through the woods to rescue a child. So he's going to be the guide, and so it's kind of a quest-ish type thing, but it is kind of a struggle between his choices of if he would like to fall back into his past life and become a great godlike warrior again, or if he's just going to be a huntsman and the choices he has to make to do so. I love any story that has to do with the gods. I find them interesting. So that's on my list as a fall TBR read. Some dark academia. I'm not huge into like actual scary horror things. It's just not my thing. I fall back more into like dark academia or witchy vibes when it comes to fall. So this is a dark academia I haven't read yet, The Secret History by Donna Tartt. It was a read with Jenna book, which those, I don't know, are hit or miss, like the Jenna and the Reese's Book Club. But I like dark academia, so I'm going with this one. It's, you know, it doesn't sound all that unique, but I love them anyways. The charismatic classics professor gets a group of college students to discover old banal contemporaries and transcendence that lead them down a dangerous path. Pretty much it's just academics who get too far and over their head and it becomes dangerous. But I love them, so I keep reading them. I don't know if this one will be good or not. Keep doing it. Atlas 6. I loved that one. That was a really good one. I also need to read The Atlas Paradox, which is the book number 2. I pre-ordered this right away when I finished that one, and I still haven't read this one. So I have this one. Atlas 6 is 6 people are chosen. So this is in a world where there's like normal people and then there's magic people, and 6 people are chosen to go to the Library of Alexandria and learn extra skills. And so they're given pretty much all the books ever written and things that you never knew were written, and all the power they could ever want. It's very morally gray. All of the people that are brought there do things that make you not like them, but it's that weird thing where nobody is likable and yet you still like them, you still keep reading, and it's just addicting. So I like it. The next book on my list, that was actually on my list, Atlas 6 book was just an add-on right now, but House of Salt and Sorrow, the number 2 book just came out, and so I already have the, what's this called? Paperback. And so I want the paperback of the other one if I'm going to get it. So I might wait and see if the paperback comes out soon of the second book, or else I might just get it from the library. We'll see. But this was it's a retelling of the 12 Dancing Princesses, I guess, which I had never heard of. But it's kind of like a spooky-ish story. 12 sisters that live in a seaside castle. It seems like they're cursed or haunted. They keep dying one after the other. They don't get past one mourning period before the next one dies again, and so nobody wants to marry them, nobody wants to be friends with them because they're cursed. And so this is the story of how I think there's 7 sisters left, maybe, or 8, are trying to figure out what's going on and try and break past this and try and live a normal life. But it is spooky. There's like ghosty paranormal things happening, and there's a mystery of what's real and what's not. So that was good. I actually listened to part of it too, and the audiobook was good. The next is the London Seance Society by Sarah Penner. This is another paranormal-ish, I don't know if it's spooky or not, but she does, what are they called? The things where you talk to the dead. Seances. She does seances, it's in the title. But she does seances to try and help widows and investigators. So she is from London, and she goes down to Paris to try and figure out her sister's death or murder or something like that. And then she gets called back up to, or maybe she's from England. Yeah, she's from France, I think. And then she gets called to England to solve a high profile murder. So it's kind of a murder mystery / spooky paranormal. All right, I have 2 books left. The next is The Wolf of Oren Yarrow. This one, I don't know if it's all that fall-y, but I always think of like cold places and like medieval as fall or winter. I don't know. But it is about a queen who, her husband died, and now she's the one who rules the region, the kingdom. But nobody seems to like her, and she's just trying her best to get by and do her best for her people. And it centers around a older woman. I mean, she's not like old, but you know, like middle-aged, which is kind of cool because most stories, more these days, but a lot of old fantasy stories just wrote those people off. So it is kind of like a feminist, these people are awesome too type story. So I'm excited to read this one. Elliot from Elliot Brooks read this one and she loved it. So I got it probably a year or 2 ago now. Oh, I got it from Powell's. So that would have been 2 years ago, I think. I don't know, but it's been on my shelf and I need to read it. So it's like the old school where there's like kingdoms they had to defend against warriors and medieval fantasy, so high fantasy. So that'll be a break between some of the other more academia ones. And then finally, one other God Killer book. This one, now that I'm thinking about it, sounds a lot like the Gods of the Weird Wood book, but this one's a lot shorter. This one's by Hannah Kaner, and this one is actually also broken binding. It's kind of funny, but it's got a beautiful map, and look at that. Is that like just folly? I mean, I don't know if it's actually fallish related, but it looks like fall on the cover. And this one is, Kissin is the girl's name, but her family was killed by worshippers of the fire, the fire god, and so it's her job now to hunt gods, and she likes doing it. But then she finds a god of the white lies that she can't kill, and he's teamed up with a young noble, and they're like together, and they're trying to flee from assassins, and they become a ragtag team and blah blah blah, which I don't always love those, but I've heard good reviews on this one, so fingers crossed. And the beautiful cover, I love it. Look at it. All right, so those are my recommendations. Well, I don't know if I recommend them yet, but those are my TBR for the fallish feels reads. Let me know if you want to pick up any of those too, or if there's any interest in them. And if you have any other fall recommendations for me, I'll add them to the list. We'll see if I read them. I am a mood reader, so sometimes I think in TBRs and then I don't follow them at all. But you know, if I make a moody TBR, maybe I'll follow it. We'll see. Oh well. See you next time. Bye.